I am architect Satyadeep Sonar, and I am a principal architect of Creations and Urban Saints. This is based out of Raipur, but today I come in front of you as a dreamer. All my life, I have been chasing a dream. I'm so sorry. Can you just go forward, please? Yeah. All my life, I've been chasing a dream. A dream about how you come, like Sir said, Zakir Sir just said that, the pin code of your space does not define who you are. But to understand my dream, I need to tell you more about Raipur. I was born in Nagpur, and my parents moved to Raipur for a better future. And when I was in Raipur, this is pre-2000, it was a very passive city in the state of Madhya Pradesh. There were power outages almost every day, 3 to 4 hours. There was no infrastructure, and everybody was very happy with the status quo. When I was growing up and I was in school like you guys, our only ambition was to get out of Raipur, to have a better future. This is how Raipur looked pre-2000. That was the airport. And somewhere I had found an old picture of how Jaistham's chalk looked. I do not know how many of you are aware about Raipur in general, but it was a very small town. I was just known for just a destination between Bombay and Kolkata. But then something changed. In the year 2000, Chhattisgarh was formed. And suddenly, this very small tier 3 city was in the primal focus of a lot of industrialists, because all the resources of Madhya Pradesh was now with us. So there was a city ready to make its mark. There was an industrial boom that happened, and I think you are in the center of that. The airport was renovated, and suddenly we had major connectivity across the country. And because people were moving around, people started to understand what their lifestyle should be. So this happened post-2000, and there was a lot of positive things started to happen in Raipur. So because of its geographic location, Raipur had superior connectivity because right in the dead center of the country. The demography was very young. There were no old generations in Raipur. Everybody was young. Everybody had a lot of ideas. There was unlimited resources in Raipur. Everybody had so many ways of earning. And at the same time, everybody wanted to have a better life. But we were very far away from our potential. The city that we were thinking of, or the cities that we thought of, were like Bombay and Pune and Bangalore and Delhi, for that matter, Kolkata. We were very far away from that. So I took off. I went out of Raipur the first chance that I got. I went out to Manipal to do my architecture. I was there for 5 years. Then I went to pursue my master's in London. I was there for 2 years. And I worked across all these cities during my studies and my postgrad and in between. So I worked in Bangalore, I worked in Mumbai, I worked in Bombay, I worked in London, I worked in Copenhagen, I worked in Malmo, and I worked in Recife, Brazil. All these places I went, and I had the best time of my life while I was getting the exposure. But there was one very weird thing that happened with me throughout. This was constant in all the places that I went to. Where is Raipur? Is this in Jharkhand? Is that where Dhoni's Gao? Or is it in Rajasthan? Nobody knew what Raipur was or where Raipur was and what was the significance of this. And this is the only reason that kept me from staying abroad, because I hated this idea that people do not know where you're from. So this is why I came back. There was another thing that happened during this period of time is that Smart City Raipur was announced. Now this was a game changer. I do not know if you guys understand now in this zone, but in the 2010, when Smart City concept was coming into the implementation, Naya Raipur was formed. Naya Raipur was a completely different city that was being formed out of the core old Raipur. And this was one of the biggest opportunities of a lifetime. The reason? It was a complete greenfield smart city, which means there was no existing infrastructure. 237 square kilometers. 237 square kilometers. That is twice the size of Paris. That is the amount of space that was empty in this place. And we as architects had the opportunity to create an urban fabric that was more towards like us, like what we wanted to do in our lives, Like we could create the new Bombay or New Delhi or whatever cities we like, because this was a completely open field. So, as urbanists, we started to discover the cities that are there that we look for up to. Discover the cities that have been there for generations. We needed to understand what were the things that they were doing right and what were the things that they were doing wrong. We had to explore the possibilities of what is working for them and adapt them for our context, because you cannot just take one project from somewhere and put it in a different place without understanding the context. And the last part was to integrate to the Raipur mentality. So the best way to develop a city are students. How many of you understand that? Guys, do you think students are the future? Yes? I can't hear the children. Guys, do you think you are the future? Yes. So to make a new city, we need you. We need to target your career, your growth, your economics, your possibilities, your lifestyle. So to develop a city of that scale, we needed to be an educational hub. And you know about how all the schools, including Vedic, are now coming to Raipur. This is a golden opportunity for scholars of across India to gain maximum traction in this area. We have to develop the IT sector to boost jobs and stuff like that. But this is all dilly-dally, and I will move forward to what this new Raipur could look like. With the possibilities of AI, I wanted to show you a glimpse of what the future might hold. Maybe a city that has an interlocked community between them with greens and traffic movements and everything else. This could be a glimpse of the Raipur that develops in the future. Or maybe it's something like this: skyscrapers and electric vehicles and public transports that are avoiding any kind of traffic. Then you have buildings that intertwine multiple functions, from commercial to residential to schooling to universities to shopping malls or whatever. Everything zoned around you guys so that you can have a more convenient lifestyle. Or we can just blur the lines. We have no definite form whatsoever. It is just a huge concrete jungle through which you move around. So there are many possibilities, and these are all imaginations. But there are also many other ways of looking at this. What if we take the Vedas to inspire the new Raipur? What are the scriptures that we have learned in the past and create buildings like this or experiences like this? Or maybe we go full-on Tron mode, where we go absolutely modern, like we do not think of anything that has to do with old India. It is a brand new image. Or we can take institutions and culture as the center point along which you create everything else around you. Or you can have office spaces that look like this. All of these are possibilities that unfold in front of us in a greenfield smart city. And this is the reason we are focusing so heavily on Naya Raipur. It can also go in the wrong direction and can be a very linear, highway-oriented development as well. And this could be the future as well. What I mean to say is, there are limitless possibilities and there are endless solutions for this. The permutations is like calculatively unimaginative. So, I want all of you to understand this, that regardless of what our imagination is, cities are not created by architects and designers. I cannot create something for you. Cities are created by people. Cities are created by you guys. It is about how you feel about that space. And you create the culture, as we had spoken earlier. Culture is very important. So, basically, today I'm talking about this mindset that we have, that to be influential, you have to come from you have to be very meticulous. But it's not the point. Today, if you think about it, for example, we talk about German engineering. Anybody who's from Germany somehow is assumed that they are very good in engineering. Or we're talking about Italian styling. So we're talking about a community understanding of a space, a label that comes from these places. You might not be in the field of engineering in Germany, and you might not be in the field of fashion in Italy. And yet, you will be branded into that scenario. So, this is a very common misconception that happens when the space is branded in a particular format. What I want to tell you is that Raipur has endless amounts of potential right now. We can decide whether we want it to be an AI hub, we want it to be a IT sector, we want it to be an aeronautical engineering space. We decide, you guys decide what it has to be. But when circumstances are not favorable to you, you need to carve out a niche. This is a learning that I've learned from my own mother, Shilpi Sonar. She came into this field of interior design in the year 1989 in Raipur, where carpenters and painters ruled the entire show. She taught me, I know Raipur is not that famous right now because wherever you go, people ask you where Raipur is. But why don't you make it famous? Why don't you work towards it that people associate Raipur with your name? And that's what we are doing. So we are in a work in progress, and we are doing small projects or large projects, and we're making very small changes to impact the mindset of people, to collectively start thinking about the overall image of a space. That's the team. That's me, my mom on the right, and my partner on the left. We together are Creations and Urban Saints, and we're doing many projects across the country. I'm just going to go through this very fast so that you just see the different scales that we're working and different places that we're working in. So this is in Odisha, Raipur, again, Raipur, Ambikapur, Raipur. This is Raipur. This is Raigarh, one of the places that are coming up in Raigarh. This is in Odisha again. This is in Pendra, near Bilaspur. This is an eco-resort that is designed like a turtle in Puri. And this is the team. Basically, the entire idea of giving this presentation is, we need to start thinking of our space as our image. A lot of people normally think of personal achievements as the only thing that they want to achieve in life. You know, like somebody just said that, बहुत बड़ा पैसा, बहुत बड़ा नाम. Sometimes you become that and still it's not fulfilling. I believe that if people know you, they should know where you're from. And that's what we are doing. We are working very hard, and from a small place like Raipur, we are being recognized by the entire design fraternity across India. We're coming on magazine covers, and now people, when we talk about design in Raipur or Chhattisgarh, they refer to us. They said, okay, the Sonars are there. So, I am trying, or we are trying our best to put Raipur or Chhattisgarh on the map. A place which was always neglected, thinking it was an Naxali area, thinking it was a back-ridden area. I want to change that thought. You all deserve a better future, and we are going to work day and night till where your hometown needs no introduction. That is the dream. That is what I'm achieving for. Thank you.